atmosphere like this level right now, he's getting nervous right now. He's nervous. He wanted this fight. Now he's talking a lot of
crazy. He is undoubtedly real. I don't like him, and I don't like any of them. These arguments, in my opinion, only serve to highlight that the more you despise someone, the better. Both fighters will fight on February 1st, 2025, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, according to a terrible farewell message that David Benavidez has sent to David Morrell. Benavidez has issued a warning. The tension between them has increased, and both fighters are ready to show themselves in the ring. Is that us 550 right there? Or is it 5,545 for Benavidez? Morrell says, "I want to fight people who have confidence that they can beat me up, but I'm going to break his month." The thing that I think Benavidez has over Morrell is experience and actual strength. He offered to shake hands with Morrell, but Morrell declined, which fueled their already fierce rivalry. I adore David versus David, and everything about the battle, the stakes, are higher than ever after intense face-offs with both fighters trading verbal jabs before fight night. Benavidez, who is known for his relentless pressure, maintains his confidence while Morrell, a talented technical, thinks he has the means to destroy his opponent.
That's 50-50 right there. If anything, 55-45 for Benavidez. I love David versus David. I love everything about the fight.
I don't know, I can't talk to you about what his hunger is, how his training is going, or how he feels. I can only talk to you about myself, but for me, it looks like fear, like he scared me. In addition, Benavidez previously stated in an interview that his fight with Morrell is personal, highlighting his intense dislike for him. He feels that emotions like this are what make people want to avoid conflict. I chose this fight because it seemed like the hardest one on paper, and I want to challenge myself. We're going to delve a little deeper into the relationship with you all later, but before I do that, is the bad blood real? Like you really don't like it? Dislike fuels the intensity of a fight, making it even more thrilling for me. Man, you know yourself, you know? Definitely authentic on the Al Helwani show. There was a contentious debate regarding David Morrell's impending bout with David Benavidez. I don't like them, I don't like them all, and I think that these fights just bring that out in you. I believe that the more you dislike someone, the better the fight will be for the CS. Before their bout, David Benavidez and David Morrell got into a furious quarrel. The tension between the two fighters was evident as they refused to back down. It's funny because he had a lot to say before the press conference, including, "I'm a RoboCop, he's going to knock me out, and I have nothing." But now look at him. He's scared and has nothing to say. Why is he not saying all of that? Now that he's there, you can't even talk. He's off and nervous. Nervous men understand what I mean. There are serious concerns regarding boxing fighter pay and management deals because it was alleged that Morrell's management would profit more from the fight than Morrell himself. Ariel brought up the subject by asking Morrell how he felt about the situation and whether he thought his team was actually rooting for him. You stated that Morrell's management would profit more from this fight than Morrell himself, and he wants to know how he's going to feel about that. Now you're asking David for. How would you respond to this, David Morrell? Is this a true manager? Underscore more than you, how do you feel? I assumed that the managers were with you, and I assumed that everyone was with you. How come your underscore managers are earning more than me? Listen, catch, how are they making more money? As he gets ready for Morrell, David Benavidez has provided an update on his training camp, saying that everything is going well. He has been working hard and sparring without getting hurt, making sure he's in peak shape for fight night. My arms are short from my height, so I had to figure out how to get there. You understand what I mean when I say that I bring this, and so it's here for maximum power and to make sure I'm in a healthy range. I'm here because I have shorter arms, so I can't be out here. Someone like you will counter this. Yes, you can be a really good fighter with both hands, and if you make this great, that's the hand because it will open up these other hands and make everything you do here that blinds you easier. Here, you're blinding Bing. At the press conference, Benavidez made it clear that his only objective is to cause as much damage as possible to David Morrell. He was focused and determined, and he saw this fight as an opportunity to demonstrate his dominance. He promised an aggressive performance when they finally entered the ring. Bing, I'm off to the side, you gotta turn your head, I get off, or I can exit, it's just rinse and repeat, okay? Okay, that's it right there. We're waiting for David Morrell to return here and attempt to do this in a pacific manner. In case you're watching the stream, Senor has also mentioned that Morrell has acknowledged his focus, and the difficult fight is going to be difficult, but now that everything is happening and you feel differently about him, that's more fuel to the fire to go in there and do what I have to do now. I'm really going to go in there, and I'm going to beat him while practicing diligently, but he feels that in spite of Morrell's commitment, his jitters are beginning to manifest at this level right now. He's getting anxious right now because he wants this fight, and he's talking a lot of underscore. You know what? He's furious underscore. Davis is really focused, and these are the reasons we're so motivated, because you know he should be pleased. Types of fights that we need, but in the end, it's a great fight for the people who wanted to see it, and we're ready to put him to sleep. You know, he has everything to gain, and we have nothing to gain. The undefeated Mexican giant, Benavidez, a former world champion with a 29-0 record and 24 KOs, is fiercely focused on every bout, particularly his showdown with Benavidez has been mute while Morrell has been spewing nonsense, noting everything that has been said. He intends to react in the ring, not with words, but with action, since he feels that the trash talk only serves to intensify the battle. Let me show you, David Morrell says. I don't have power. You don't have this. I don't have power. No, I don't have power for this. I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you. Break your H talking boys more better man. Like shut what? Underscore, so you mean what you're saying, dude? You're the dumb one who beats the no man. Alright, how are you doing, sweetie? Anything you do, it's all good. Then, I want you to get ready, because I want you guys to give me anything you do. Nitz enjoys taking on tough opponents who think he can't defeat them. In regards to Canelo, he denies rumors that he's avoiding the fight because he's never been scared of big opponent. As I mentioned earlier, I embrace challenges. So for Canelo and his fans who claim that I don't bring anything to the table, I don't do this, I don't do that, man. They're just scared just like he's scared. Bennett is always willing to prove himself against the best and collect a big bag on my head after the fight. As if it weren't, that's what I'm doing with David Morrell. You know, it's the hardest fight. But I'm not afraid of anyone, but I feel like it's just a bunch of excuses on his end, bro. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of excuses and a bunch of pride, because after I beat him, you know, what they don't like is that I'm Mexican.
And you know it yourself. You know, there's just some fighters that want that challenge, that they want to challenge themselves. And this is why I chose this fight, because it looked like the hardest fight on paper, and I want to challenge myself.
We're gonna go a little...
Like, is that I'm Mexican. However, Benavidez is an absolute powerhouse in the ring. Relentless warrior with incredible speed. If he wants to come prove that I'm not underscore, come prove it in front of everyone. It's that simple. Aggression and power. Even Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed champion, is feeling the strain from his unquestionable domination. Canelo is aware that his supporters want him to take on David Benavidez, but he secretly questions whether he wants the challenge. He mentions it as a possibility, but never commits. From 2013 until 2021, David Bennett, an American, was a PH from Phoenix, Arizona. I believe he is still fighting. His last bout was probably in 2021. Oh, but wait, on November 13th, he will face Jose S. David Benavidez is not what people believe him to be. I see a very talented fighter with good punch and move fluidity. He is among the best fighters in the world, in my opinion, and I'm talking about skill-wise. He has quick hands, throws amazing flurries, and knows how to break you down methodically. His defense is also very strong. Better than people give him credit for defeating Olis. I thought, brother, this guy looks great, right? He just needs more time at 175, which I think he got David Morrell, and David Benavidez are going to fight? Is that a fight that you're, oh, got it, yeah. The story between him and I is that I met him when he was a kid, and he told me that he would be a world champion someday.
We're gonna go a little bit deeper into the relationship with y'all a little bit later, but before I move on, is the bad blood real? Like, you really don't like
Yeah.
Then I ran into him, and he's a world champion. I've encountered him a lot, usually with MMA fighters. I was kind of kicking the tires boxing at the time, and sure, I will watch that fight if that's what you're asking, Jake. Not boxers, though. Paul also asserts that Canelo is hesitant to fight Benavidez because he fears defeating David Benavidez, who could become an overnight superstar. According to Paul, Canelo does not want to jeopardize his legacy by taking on such a dangerous opponent. You're saying that you're going to make Conor even though Dimitri Bivol has praised Ben's skills, revealing that he is impressive in sparring and capable of competing at the highest level. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who is relatively unknown, and Bennett's defeat him, and Bennett's instantly becomes a superstar? Sparring is really different from fighting. I frequently spar when I wasn't good and don't see it when I am good. As I check the fight, I'm just trying to accomplish a mission for one sparring, and sometimes it works out well. However, with Ben, this sparring was good, so I can't say that something wasn't good. Now, it's Canelo, who has belts, so of course he's the best in 68. They need to prove it, earn the belts, and then we'll say, we have rules, you have belts, you are the best, but Benavidez is working hard for this fight. David Morrell is not far behind. Morrell sees this as a huge chance and is equally excited and dedicated to preparing hard to ensure an amazing fight outcome. He is determined to show off his skills and prove that he is among the greatest for everyone music. That's it. Look, they've been saying, this time is the true secret. I believe that Plan had too much power for Ben, so he's the big person and has more strength, so you have like the good leaves you have. Teddy Atlas recently analyzed the matchup, recognizing Morrell's Cuban boxing background and his more than 100 fights despite being less experienced at the professional level. Atlas stressed that Benavidez is more controlled. You put in a lot of effort, you have power, and you have everything. Nothing for music. You move, you can. I believe the P-puncher is most likely Morrell for one shot since he is a dangerous and strategic fighter who has been technical and battle-proven. He's the less experienced guy, but he's got that Cuban background, with the amateur pedigree, over 100-something fights. He's got experience. Even though he's got a lot less fights profession, he's got experience. He hasn't fought the resume professionally that Benavidez has, so that's in favor of Benavidez. The experience is always important, but also the pedigree, like I said, where he comes from Cuba. How you come from that island, that from the beginning when you start when you first put those gloves on. It's all about becoming a world champ. Part of it is to escape the communist country, to get to a better life, to get to where you can pursue dreams, to get over here where you can become a world champion. And that is all there, but Benavidez comes from those bloodlines too, where it's all about with him and his father, and his family. It's all about being a champion, staying a champion, being proud, representing yourself in and out of the ring as a champion. The power both guys are known for that. The difference between David Morrell and David Benavidez is clear. Benavidez is a non-stop high-volume fighter who thrives on pressure. He loves getting in close and has raw aggression in his DNA. He has openly stated that all of Morrell's trash talk is fueling his motivation, and he's determined to settle it in the ring. Benavidez Sr. has also acknowledged Morrell's skills, making it clear that Team Benavidez isn't underestimating him. He called Morrell a tough, talented fighter and assured that they are preparing at the highest level, knowing this would be no easy fight against such a dangerous opponent. He says, quote, I don't want to fight someone who doesn't mean something for my career, and the best out there now is David Morrell. I see him coming up to 175. He's talking a lot of, so I'm going to shut his ass up. And also it would be a bigger pay-per-view if you wait later. His name is not that big, but I don't. They just talk the way you want your fighters to talk, and they're all about the smoke. They want to fight everybody. It seems like whoever would win the Morrell-Benam get the shot, but at the end of the day, we got a guy who wants to fight a tough guy. David Morrell is so good. David Morrell is a high-risk, low-reward fighter. You have to overpay people to step in the ring with him. If you don't overpay him, you won't get them in the ring. It's as simple as that, Jack. So David Morrell, going into 2024, one of the most exciting fighters, got an exciting style, has a fan base in Minnesota. That's the knock on the Cubans. No international distribution on the Cuban fee because they don't show the fights. Has a fan base in Minnesota. Now we need to see the fights. Vladimir Shishkin and Billy, any of those guys on the back end of the top 10. I want to see him in with him. Music. Thanks. While many favor Benavidez, there's a real chance this could go terribly wrong for him. Unlike most fighters in his position, Benavidez is taking a major risk rather than waiting for a Canelo payday. He's stepping up, essentially.
He's running out of excuses. He said that the only thing I bring is 25 extra pounds, and I'm not worth nothing, but he's asking
becoming the Canelo to Morrell by giving him a shot. There's a huge demand for this fight of Dave Morrell and David Benavidez. For me, though, I never had a huge demand for it because I think it's a bit early for Morrell. And when you look at his last fight, our season, David Morrell didn't look that good. But a lot of people don't think David Benavidez looked that good against VK. I thought he looked great. I just thought he gassed out, but I thought he looked Phenomenal. This fight, though, reminds me a bit of how I believe they pushed Vargas too quickly. Don't be surprised if David gives him a boxing lesson. Vargas was a little too young and showed a lot of potential when he faced Trinidad, and many wanted that fight until they saw it. David, I believe he will demonstrate some movement, shoot the jab, and be busy. I believe Morrell has a punching opportunity, and I believe it will be a spectacular one because he is so athletically talented. David Morrell and Benavidez are correct. This is the kinds of battles two young fighters who are excellent fighters in their division are needed in boxing. They advanced to 175 from 168, but the fight wasn't made there. David remarked, "You know what? Let's make this fight happen." Based on the first few photos, it appears like David needs to lose some weight because he resembles Tyson Fury of the 175, but that is irrelevant because everything comes down to your fighting style and technique.
Asking 200 million, and now he's gonna fight me in the same night. This shit's just stupid, bro. Like, you just tell the people you don't want to fight me.
Although I believe David Morrell has a fantastic chance to demonstrate his abilities, I don't think it will be sufficient to defeat David Benavidez. For David Morrell, I believe David Benavidez has a little too much force and too many combinations. Did you know that David Morrell hasn't faced anyone in the top 2 or top 3? David Benavidez is the favorite going into the battle because he has been in there with Caleb Plant and some other strong fighters. However, please let me know what you guys think of that fight. Although Morrell lacks experience, he offers a special combination of size, speed, and power with a more aggressive knockout-oriented style. Serious issues arise with athleticism, sharp angles, and the southpaw posture. If Morrell counters well, the worries about Benavidez's propensity to square up and his forward-moving aggression could be exploited, but Benz's pressure hands, speed, and underappreciated skill set might be too much. Hey, I'll give Benavidez a lot of credit because I've had a high opinion of Morrell for a long time in Los Angeles. I got to watch him up close and I wasn't particularly impressed with what I saw, but I just think he had an off night. I hope there are more fighters like David Benavidez who said, "No, I'll back myself." I don't give __ about Morrell. I know everyone rates him, and he's this Cuban killer. I'll beat him, get me in with him, fair play. Well done. Excellent fighter, and Benavidez really doesn't need to be taking that fight, but he is. It's wonderful to witness this, isn't it? David Bennett's got a fantastic fight too. Boxing has escaped it, but I rap VAS so often that it's difficult for me to ignore them. Experts evaluating the bout believe it to be a genuine clash of styles. While Benavidez overwhelms opponents with unrelenting volume, Morrell provides strength. Benavidez took the fight even though Morrell might have needed it more, demonstrating his warrior attitude. If Morrell prevails, he will become a star, but he is risking everything by taking on a beast that thrives in vicious, fast-paced fights. I realize I say that in every argument, but I'm simply becoming better and better. These are the kinds of challenges I want, and I don't back down from them. You understand what I mean when I say that I'm more experienced now, and I'm physically, emotionally, and spiritually at one with myself. I'm ready, and that's definitely what I'm going to demonstrate. To be honest with you, I'm going to just put a question here. Do you believe you break them down like later in the rounds? Or do you catch them early and break him down early, like we saw with Andre? Game plan with you, and I'm just going to stick to it. Given the last performance, I know you mentioned at the post-fight that you were hurt and that you're dealing with a lot of things, so I'm not sure if it will come early or late, but I'll be trying to knock them out. You know, that's what I do every single fight. I go in there, and I just break people down, and I beat the __ out of them. It will be the same thing. I don't care what people say. I know exactly what I do. I know that F has 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and no 8 weeks left to fight tour attendant. I'm getting closer to 4 weeks of fighting with just one hand. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time. Fans' perception of David at 175 is now. Do you think it's fair to be honest with yourself?